Hello everyone, welcome to Efficient User. In today's video, we are going to discuss you about something I really love and that's really give a good user experience so that when you are building application, you can try it out. So we are going to discuss about how we can make your application faster and look smarter based on preload strategies. So we are going to start with simple terms like eager loading and lazy loading. Let's talk about eager loading at first. Eager loading is nothing but the user is going to wait for everything to load up front. If you have a large application, they are going to wait for everything to comes up front, and time to first interaction with your app is not going to be so great. For example, you are having a big application, and all the modules that needed will be loaded up front before they are going to make a first interaction or like a just screen presence in these things. So this is called eager loading. Everything will be loaded upfront itself. Now let's see about lazy loading. In lazy loading, the user is going to see the first print right away, and then in background of whenever they are going to another link or navigating to different route, it is going to load their related modules. But when they click on another link, they have to wait for that modules to get loaded from the network to see it in the screen, right? So we are going to wait for everything to load upfront. It's going to be really fast. That's eager loading. Or we are going to load at first screen very fast and then going to load record models on demand, and it will wait for a few seconds or like a microseconds when the network is taking some time to download the models. So these are two extreme choices. Now let's talk about an intermediate thing called preload strategies. So in preload strategies, we can control the user experience based on the needs. For example, you can load your modules based on your needs, or like you can load all the modules. So those kind of strategies we will be seeing. To add more thing about this thing, like what happens when we navigate to a route in lazy routing, the route makes a network request to the download a module, and download fetches the modules of JavaScript bundle. This causes the user to wait. So this is where preloading can come up into the place. Let's see about types of preloading strategies. First one is like a preload none. You did some routings, and it will have some lazy loaded modules. So it will just having in the places. So preload none will be like a default behavior. It won't preload in nothing. Next one is like a preload all. It will preload all the modules. It will be useful but aggressive and increase the network usage. For example, like the user placed into a homepage of a website, and all the child modules has been loaded in the background, irrespective of whether the user is going to be use it or not. So that will be like putting more pressure on the network. So third one is like a custom preload strategy. So we are going to build our preloading strategy based on our custom logics. Maybe like we can mention like a load particular modules, or like load these modules after a few seconds. Those kind of custom preload strategies can be designed. So basically we have these three types in our preload strategy. First one will be none. Second one will be all. It's like a all or none concept. Third one is like creating custom logics. So how preloading works? So after each navigation, the router will check for any unloaded modules are there or not. And then it will check whether those unloaded modules should be preloaded or not, checking some conditions like a booleans or like some validations or like user checks, those kind of things. Third one is like it will load the appropriate module if it is passes the cases. So this will be like looks like this. So no preloading will be looks like this. In our route, we will be mentioning like a preload strategy as no preloading. So it won't preload nothing. So it won't do anything. It will do the application things as it is. Next one is like a preload all things. What it will do is like it will check for all the unloaded models, and it will preload everything. So basically, we are going to look for three options here. Like we are going to discuss about these things. Like we can design our preload strategies in many ways, but we are going to discuss about three things in this session. So first one is like you opt in or out. So you decide whether that particular module needs to be loaded or not. So we will be having some Boolean value, and it will check for that value. If it is true, it will load that module. Otherwise, it won't load until it has been visited by the application. Second one is like based on the network speed, it will decide whether that particular model needs to be loaded or not. So what it will happen, for example, you opt, let's go with the first option, you opt in or opt out. So you landed to a home page and it is having some other modules which is lazy loaded, and it will look for the options. We have four sub modules, means it will look for the options. If only two modules is having options like preload this, so it will load that particular two modules and left the other two modules. If the user is navigating to that other two modules which opt out of the like a preload, it will load the modules from the internet only when they are visiting that particular route. Third one is like a predicting based on user behavior. For example, like it can be a mouse over, or it can be like a scroll kind of thing. That kind of loading as well we can do. So how we can create our custom preload strategy. So we have seen how we can do the no preloading as well as like preload everything. How we can create our custom preload strategy. Basically, we need to import preloading strategy interface from the @anglo/route, and then you can implement those preload strategy, and then write your custom logic describing how it should behave and apply to the routes. Basically, these were the three things. First one is implementing the preload strategy and write custom logic, and then apply to the routes. So let's get started. So let's get started with the demo. For demo, what I'm going to do is like let's create a fresh Angular project. Can be preload strategy. It will just generate a new project with some minimal boilerplate codes of Angular. I'm just going to create it. So providing the needed informations. Let's wait for the packages to get installed. So our project got created. Let's open in VS Code. What it basically have is like it will have some boilerplate code here. So I'm just going to the terminal. So basically I need to navigate to that particular project. So cd space preload strategy. I'm going to open this in VS. Basically what I will do is like I will open app.component.html, and we could see like a lots of HTML here. Mostly we don't need it. Basically we can just toggle it, and we will just open it in browser with ng serve hyphen. No, what it will do is like it will serve the application, and we could see the output basically. So let's wait for it to compile and show it in the thing. It is basically building it, so we can wait for some time. So we could see application got showing the output like in the new tab. So we are seeing lots of informations. Basically, what we are going to do is like we are going to add two sub modules or like another components here, and we can generate it via Angular CLI. We'll remove these existing parts to make the application looks simple. Let's go back to our VS Code. So what I'm going to do is like I can close this. Let's keep the toolbar. In the highlighted card, we don't need it actually. Basically, we can delete few components here, like the HTML things, to keep the application looks simple. I'm deleting it. Let's delete this as well, and these links as well. Let's take the photo service. So it should looks simpler. Okay, no, the app looks cleaner because we deleted most of the things. What we are going to do is we will create two buttons and two submodules. When we click it, we will see how it will do the routes. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'll go back to my command prompt. I'm going to create new modules here. So ng angular generate a module called about, and it should have a route called about hyphen route about. So it should depend on the module hyphen module app dot module. So what it will basically do is it will create a module with a minimal code of. So we could see we created a app dot routing module.ts, like a about routing.ts, and components and related style sheets, and the existing routing has been updated with the entry of about module. So if you go back to our code, we will see that options here we have new folder called about, and this has been newly created with minimal codes. So what we are going to do is we'll see that updated things in app.routing.module.ts. So we could see a new entry here. So it got information like this. Basically, it added the entry here and having the option about. So let's create another module as well. So what we are going to do is let's create something called contact. So it will have another module called contact and do the similar things, and it will be added in the existing application. So let's create it. So let's see our code now. So about is here, contact is here. So to display it in UI, what we are going to do is we will add a button here, button, and it should have a router link. It will be equal to about. If someone is going to homepage URL slash about, the about module should be loaded. So we are going to add it as about. Let's see in the UI. So when I click about, so it's showing about works. So to make it a little bit simpler, I'll copy this router outlet and place it under the place, so that it will display under the button itself, because it's having some styles applied it. So next thing we are going to do is we'll just duplicate it. We'll just make it as contact, and it should be like a contact. Let's have a button to for return to the home page basically. So home page will not have any sub words. So let's keep it as empty. Let's go back to our so we have something like this. Let's put it in a div so that it will show it in side by side. Instead of having much CSS, we can add like this. Okay, looks good. So if you go to home page, nothing is there. If you go to about is loading, and contact is loading. So what we are going to see here is let's open the developer console, and in the network tab, I have filtered using module thing. So let's reload it. So when we load the home page, the about module or contact module is not loaded because it has been lazy loaded in the app.routing modules basically. So let's keep it simple so that it will be visible for us in the UI. So what will happen if I go to about tab? So it will download about module.js or the related module from the internet, so that it will load only when it is on demand. So if you go to contact, it will downloading the information from the network and loading into our application. So this is called lazy loading. Basically, user should wait uh, these particular modules should be downloaded from the internet and then to display here. To keep it as an intermediate thing, we are coming with the option called a preload strategy. What we will see is like we'll see the basic preload strategy options now. After that, we'll see our custom CSS custom preload strategy. For that, I'm importing preload strategy. For this, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to mention my preload strategy here. So preload strategy configures the preload strategy. One of the preload all modules or no preload modules. So Emmet is showing like the information like this. What we are going to do is like a preload strategy. So let's go back to our slide. I will show the same code we have seen. First, we are going to see no preloading. So this preloading strategy, first we will go with the no preloading option and see the output. And then after we will add a preload all modules, we will see the informations. So it will be no preloading and just saving it. Let's see the output. So let's go to home page and then refresh the application. So it did nothing because no preloading is something like a default behavior of a lazy loading. So nothing will be preloaded. Only if we visit it, it will be loaded. So let's see the other option here. Like it will be like let's copy this so that we will see the differences side by side. I will comment out the first thing, and we are going to like preload all modules. Make this option as preload all modules. What this preload all module will do is like it will preload all the modules. Like for example, if you visit the home page, after loading the home page, it will start preloading the other sub modules. Let's save it and see the behavior here. So we could see like the timeline up to some point of it loaded home page. After that, it started preloading everything we have loaded. So this will have some benefit like if we do like mentioning like it just preload all the existing modules after some point of time. So let's go for our third option. First one is like a no preloading. Second one is like a preload everything. Third one is like a let's have some custom preloading strategy. For that, we have mentioned in our slide like we need to implement the preloading strategy interface. For that, what I'm going to do is like go back to my code and to keep it simple, let's create a folder called strategy, and inside that I'm going to create a file called opt-in dot strategy dot ts. So here what I'm going to do is like I'm going to implement the preloading strategy options, and like in the constructor of preload I'm going to mention like what type of preload we are going to have. For that I'm going to use John purpose Angular snippet here for preloading. So I'm going to use this Angular preload opt-in strategy. So we could see a minimal code here how it can do it. Basically what it did is like it implements the preloading strategy, and in the constructor it's checking for few conditions whether my particular route is having a data information, and data information should have a variable or like a information like a preload should be a true, then load that particular module, otherwise just leave it as it is. So for this what I'm going to do is I will just rename it opt-in strategy. For this thing like we are going to check for a router data module here, so that we are going back to our app routing modules. I'm going to add data information here, data, and what we have here, preload. Going to pass it as a true. So when we load this particular home page, what it will do is like it will check for this custom preload strategy file we have created and look for routes. For example, it will look for routes of about and see whether it's having this particular variable information, whether it is true or not. If it is true, it will just load it. For that, what we are going to do is we are going to let's create a index field, because we are going to have one more preloading strategy here. Let's export. So /slash opt-in strategy. Sure, what we are going to do, let's create preloading strategy colon opt-in strategy. So when we click opt-in strategy, just imports here. We will just save it, but we need to also mention this particular entry in our providers visually. So also providers entry here, because at least one file from index should be there. Let's see what is happening now on the thing. So let's refresh the application. So we didn't mention any preload thing like a default thing, no preload or a preload everything. We mentioned a custom preloading strategy, and we could see only about module has been loaded here, because whenever we are loading the home page, it will look into this opt-in strategy, and it will look for all the submodules routes, whether it is having the variable called a preload. So why about only loaded and the contact is not loaded? Let's see. We have mentioned data preload only at this place. So what if we placed in the contact as well? Let's save it and go back to our application. Now we could see both the things has been loaded, and we can also implement this option and have some additional strategy as well, just preload this option after 10 seconds or after 15 seconds. Anyway, mentioning the 10 seconds or 15 seconds is not going to be delay when when user is clicking about or contact. It's just like a background process only. If user is coming to homepage and immediately clicking about, it will load immediately. You don't check that preload options and all, because user is explicitly want that content. So first one is we are mentioning opt-in option. We are mentioning this particular things needs to be loaded or not. So this is our developer will be deciding that particular module needs to be loaded or not. Let's create another strategy here. So I'm going back to my strategy folder and creating a new file. Now it's called network strategy .ts. Ignore the case, because mostly I use small cases only in the files. Now we are going to do the similar way. I'm going to use the Angular snippet I have. It's going to be preload network strategy. Here we need to take a quick look how it works. So basically we have same things here as well. Preload strategy and do all those things. Here we have another condition to check the network. Basically, as good condition, it will return true or not. If it is a good condition, it will return true. After that, the models will be preloaded. So how it will decide? It will get the information from navigator.connection. If the connection is a slow 2G or 2G, or even it is a 3G network, it should, what it will do is let's include 3G as well. Let's take out 4G. What it will do is if it is a slowest connection, it won't preload. Means your user is using the fastest internet, it will just think it is a fastest internet, just preload everything, or a preload few things. If they are from a slowest network or a public Wi-Fi or some slow internet in their mobile, don't preload those things, because it will overheating the network and causing them a slowness in the application, or not exactly in the background process, I say. So we are predicting the user's internet, predicting the behavior of the user and like based on the internet speed, we are deciding whether we need to preload or not. For this thing, what I'm going to do is like I'm just going to save it and go back to our app routing modules and command this path and add new entry. Preload strategy colon network aware preload strategy, which we have created. Let's save it. So now all the submodules has been loaded because I'm from a good internet. So we loaded about module and like a contact modules thing. So how we can test it basically? So in browser we have option in the network tab, like setting the speed of internet, like mocking the internet speed. What I'm going to do is like set it as a slow 3G, and we are in the home page. Let's see what happens if we set it as a slow 3G and refresh it. So it is refreshing the page now, and it's not downloaded any sub modules because I'm from a slow internet. So only when I click about, it will send a call to the network and downloading the file and loading it. So we get the information of users internet and we are deciding whether we need to preload or not. So let's set it as a fastest internet again, like just online. I'm just refreshing and see the behavior now. Let's refresh it. Now, after loading the home page, it just preloaded all the about and contact modules. If the user goes about module, it will straight away will show the information. So we have seen two options here, like two strategies here basically, opt-in strategy and a network strategy. So coming back to app.module.ts, we have seen four examples here. First one is like no preloading at all. Second one is like preload everything. Third one is like a preload based on the information provided by the developer in the route, whether you need to be preloaded or not. For example, if the contact is not needed, they can set it as false. So final one we have seen is like a network aware. So if the internet is too slow, don't preload. If it is fast, just preload it because they have good internet. So you just try out these things. We have another thing called like based on the scroll or like a click event, we can do preload strategy as well. We will see it in the next video. So you just give it a try and leave your feedbacks in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Make sure it will be helpful for you. Thank you.